The views and opinions expressed during this program are solely those of the individuals involved and do not reflect the views of Explorewithsu. As such, this channel cannot be held liable for any legal actions arising from the content of this program.
Hello my besties, welcome to this channel. It's your girl Susu here. If you are not subscribed yet, please do well to subscribe, support this channel, like this video, comment and share. Thank you.
Fulanese have their own different agenda, which is different from that of the British. The British are not interested whether the Fulanese Islamize Nigeria or not. Rather, they will even prefer it to be so. Because they are the people they could trust to handle and then to do everything they are doing without being challenged.
Yeah.
And that is why they would want them to be in charge. This is not something that started today. It started right from the dates of independence. Yes.
Okay.
If you know the history and you go about it, you will find out. It started with Nnamdi Azikiwe. After all he did and every other thing, the time we gained our independence wasn't the time we would have gained it. But because the North, whom they would want to hand this thing over, wasn't ready, they did everything, waiting and trying to make them see reasons why they should. And not until they now agreed, that was when we got that independence. And that was when the power was handed over to them. Now, they themselves, not seeing the reason why it was so, now saw it as an avenue where they could dip their Quran into the Niger, or whichever way they say it. That is why they started all these things. And now came to Biafrans. When Biafrans now opposed to it, we are predominantly the Christians and every other thing. It became a threat to them. And that was why they were doing everything possible to subdue the Biafrans from coming up.
Okay.
And and Britain was supporting them, because once Biafra goes, they've lost it all out. And the only way they can keep their business empire, which is Nigeria, is by keeping the Fulanese there to be in charge of that. That is why they don't care. Even if everybody is killed in Nigeria, including even the Fulanese and every other person, let's assume there's a war between these two parties and they all perish. It means nothing to Britain, because that will even help them now come in full to now take over, you know, what they want. So that is exactly what is playing out. But we keep treating or talking about elements. That's the way I say it. You see, all these questions we are asking, why this, why that? We all know that. We all know the facts about it. But what we don't know is that it is not even the making of the Southeasterners, because they will always use our best. The only thing they succeeded is everything that is going on in that country is being instigated by the people I am talking about. They first made these people, gave them the power, and then made them the kingmakers. And that made them that anybody who is seeking for to be relevant knows that he cannot do it by fair means. Then that person must go to align with them. And that can never come without consequences, because anytime you now go, before they make you that, they will now tell you their biddings. And when you come in, you must have to follow it. Now, check out all the things that are happening. check out all our governors. Check out the governor of Imo State that came from fourth to the first. It wasn't by merit. And immediately he came in, that is where he started doing everything possibly against the Biafran emergence.
Yeah.
Now, check out even Rivers. What's his name? The president Abuja, Wike. That's the word I was looking for. Wike, when he wanted to be relevant in politics, he had the interest in becoming the president of the nation. That was when he was doing everything to appease them, kicking against Nnamdi Kanu, killing the Igbos, and every other thing. All that was to make those people now see him as a willing tool, where they could now give him that position he was looking for. Eventually, he doesn't know that if someone sees you as a traitor, that person will not trust you, but will only use you to gain whatever he wants. The master, Britain, we are there watching him, but they will never trust him in that very particular position. But they only used him, and he did all that, and that was what Nnamdi kept saying. Go and serve the North and come back in shame. Everything that gentleman has said from onset is working out according to, because he is the man that saw tomorrow, as I put it.
All right, you have another question, sir, so that you can use all of them. You were talking about that the three problems we have in Nigeria is British, the Biafrans, agitators, and the Fulani who are trying to Islamize Nigeria. And you explained vividly how Biafrans are part of the problem because they are resisting the people who are trying to oppose their religion and other things against them. Now, I really want to know, because when you look at the Middle Belt now, let me use the Benue for example, you see like all these things you are seeing. Now, the question is it because these people don't have people who are resisting all these Fulanis, who are burning their houses, chasing them out of their ancestral lands, and the federal government did not rebuild these villages up till now? Nothing is happening.
They're not Nigeria. And these people have the agenda. This is caused by the Fulanis, not by the Nigerians.
Okay.
And their aim is to Islamize the whole Nigeria. And they must have to. Okay, let me digress a little. When the Nazis, Hitler, wanted to conquer the world, what they did was they started with the Europeans, conquering them and joining their army. Now, leaving the main and
are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Are you hearing me?
Okay. Yeah, I'm hearing.
So, which is America and Britain. They were doing all those things and now joining their army and all those things. This is exactly the template that is playing out here. These people are now terrorizing the North and killing them. I think there's a little network problem. Are you hearing me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I can hear you now.
So if they succeed in doing that, even the West now that thought they are just not being targeted, they are making a mistake. Because after they now feel that they can now subdue even the West, they will come after them. And after that, they will now come to Biafrans. But then the whole thing was nipped on board for the fact that somebody like Mazi Nnamdi Kanu now came up.
Yeah.
So he couldn't now and started raising everything. Started raising the security outfit and every other thing. Now they saw it as a very big threat. They wanted to stop it by all means, and all these things is not by their making. That is when they started attacking the IPOB, and they gave it a bad name in order to kill the dog by designating it as a terrorist organization. We all saw all that happening. Then from there, all these things. But the only thing is that when something is bound to happen, then it must have to happen. There's always a time for anything. And that is what is playing out now. Now, let me just conclude, because I wouldn't want to continue further than I have gone already. Now, the only thing now is all these things we are talking, that is why they must never release Nnamdi Kanu. We are looking at it that it is Nigerian government. Why can't they see? What has it done? Why should the court, exempt him? And then they will never release Nnamdi Kanu under any circumstance, because their masters told them so. Because they feel that if that guy is released, then they have lost it all. Now, that is exactly what happened in Aburi. When Ojukwu went to Aburi with Govt and did everything, immediately they came in. The masters told Govt not to accept that, and the whole thing thwarted. Now, in the case of Nnamdi Kanu, the judiciary would have released him freely, like they already pronounced. But then, these people now told them, against all odds, that they must never do it. And that is why it is the way it is now. And nothing can ever make them. Now, look at your president now of today. All of them have skeletons in their cupboard, and that is why they use them. That guy couldn't have won this thing, but then they put him in there. Because now, do you know why something like the Muslim thing that was cancelled, all those things were in the name to make sure that whichever way it goes, the Muslims will still be in that power, so that they don't make the mistake of handing this thing over. They don't trust any Christian. If you check what happened when Buhari traveled, within just a space of time, Osibanjo now changed one or two things. The thing came as a blow to them. Immediately, he stayed what he went for, came back immediately, and now reinstated all those people and thwarted. And that was when they relegated that man to the background and made sure he never came up to do anything. That is just the reason. That is the reason why they moved Jonathan from that very particular position. And immediately they removed Jonathan. They changed everything to the Fulanis, all security apparatus and every other thing. So
it's all right, sir. We have exhausted your time.
All right. Okay, then. Thank you. So
thank you so much.
We start looking at the root cause of the problem, then the better for us. What we are doing is just treating elements and not treating.
What do we do? What do we do? Just
that's the thing. What we will do is this. It's like we are a little helpless. I must have to tell you, a little helpless in the sense that they have grabbed the power now. And then the only thing you can now suggest is maybe going by violence. But that is not any way to be advised. Because if you go that way, that will not stop them. They will still do whatever they will want to do for you not to achieve what you are looking for. So I think the time of the Biafrans has come.
Mm.
And why I tell you it has come is with all these things that is happening in Finland, they knew why they tried to stop it. But God has failed him. The initial time, they thought it wasn't going to be possible. And they were neglecting that guy, calling him that thing in Finland. Now, immediately, Trump now won this election. They now started having fear because somebody like Trump will not support injustice in any case. But they are the strongest ally Britain has. And they wouldn't want to trample on British toe. That is why they are keeping quiet. But I think that through his congressmen, we could see light at the end of the tunnel. Because this time, it will now not be Trump himself coming out to be that opposition. But then he cannot turn down anything the Congress agrees on. So that is what they saw. Then the only thing they now wanted to do is to make sure that Congress did not hold. And now let me tell you one thing. At times when people talk, you may think they don't know what they are talking. You see this investigative journalist called Kemi. I don't remember her name.
I know the lady you are talking about.
Yes, the lady once said that something was going to happen on the 30th, and that thing is that they will invade the Easterners. That thing was quite correct. I know that now people will now be saying, the gullible ones will now be saying that 30th has now gone. What happened? But she will come out to be shouting this, that. Is it not 30th that has gone? What happened? And rightfully so, they may say so. But now, what really happened is something in Finland that was what stopped that thing from happening. Because the intel they had now knew that that was going to happen, and they were expecting this thing to be announced on the date they placed it, which is 2nd. And if they had waited until that very 30th, that thing in this thing wouldn't have held, because they would have attacked us on that 30th. And under the grounds that Nigerians, that Biafra is still under Nigeria, and whatever they are doing, they have the right to do anything. But that thing took them by surprise with the intel and was now declared on that very particular 29th. And it was on record that it has been declared. So that prevented them from that attack, because if they had gone in to now attack again, it will be obvious and things will, and that was what saved the situation. And with that, I believe that is where our light, which is at the end of the tunnel, will come from. I rest it here.
Okay, Mr. Okay, thank you so much. This is all about 38 minutes of talking to us, and what you said is something that all of us are going to ponder on. You know, especially the third problem you highlighted. I'm going to do more research about what you said, and I'm going to come back and use it for brokers. You see, what you said is voluminous, but you just try to summarize it. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
All right, before we come to the screen again, let us have callers who have been calling on the phone through WhatsApp calls.
Has been a self-acclaimed Prime Minister of the state of Biafra. And he has been known to have been issuing directives since the arrest of Nnamdi Kanu. Directives that have been obeyed by most persons from that part of the country. Honestly speaking, looking at the devastation, looking at the killings, looking at the economy of the southeast region, particularly the 5 states in the southeast, it would be safe to say that the arrests may turn around things or have positive impact. But if I look at it politically, Simon Ekpa's arrest and even extradition into Nigeria will not change things. That was the same position I took when Nnamdi Kanu was arrested. I was very clear and emphatic that there may be worse Nnamdi Kanus, whatever you think Nnamdi Kanu was doing, that the arrest of Nnamdi Kanu did not bring to an end the agitation. What will solve the problem is the release, the unconditional release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. President Tinubu did not put him there. He didn't arrest him. He was arrested by President Buhari. He plotted it and he arrested him and brought him here. Ever since then, he has been a customer of the DSS. The matter got up to Supreme Court. Supreme Court justified the escape of Nnamdi Kanu when soldiers stormed his family home. That there was evidence to show that they were about to be killed. So he had to escape and ordered for his unconditional release. In the characteristic manner of President Buhari, who I have always said never liked the Igbos. They had this ancient hatred, I have always said so, against the Igbos. So he kept him there until he left office. President Buhari never liked the Igbo people. He was just using takia on those who were coming around him. You know what is takia? Deceive him. There was no reason for Nnamdi Kanu to still be in detention till now. I've said this severally, and I don't want to be commenting on it regularly. That was why I suggested that if it is getting difficult to release Nnamdi Kanu, bring him to Ego Square, use him for barbecue. Let the haters of Igbos and those who hated Nnamdi Kanu come and take a pinch of his flesh. Eat it, so that that matter will be closed permanently. But I think what we can do is to encourage President Tinubu to have the courage to release Nnamdi Kanu. He didn't put him there. The law is on his side. If Nnamdi Kanu is released today, Simon Ekpa will disappear. Because nature abhors a vacuum. That was why Simon Ekpa moved in. Whether he was with them or he was not with them, the people started listening to him. If the boss, you know, when the cat is aware, when the cat is away from the house, the mouse will take over the house. Release Nnamdi Kanu today, you will never hear about Simon Ekpa again. Because all those listening to him will now go back to the original master. If Nnamdi Kanu comes today, if it's released today, this sit at home will stop. If he comes today, nobody will go and start killing people, releasing Nnamdi Kanu. Nobody will just get to the road and start shooting people. Killing of policemen on the streets will disappear. Because Nnamdi Kanu will not be in charge. I tell them, tarry a while. Let us discuss. And they would listen to him. I told President Buhari, when he was in office, that there is no politician in Nigeria, living or dead, that commanded or commands the followership of Nnamdi Kanu without Nnamdi Kanu putting one kobo. No politician. But they were following him. So I told President Buhari, based on this, the person you should do business with is Nnamdi Kanu. Open the door for discussion. That was 2 years of him being in office as president, or 3 years. If Nnamdi Kanu is released today, all these things will disappear. Simon Ekpa will go to oblivion. So that's why I'm not bothered about bring Simon Ekpa, lock him, start trying him. Nnamdi Kanu is still there. We will be back to square one. Releasing Nnamdi Kanu, Mr. President, have the courage to release him today. All this insecurity, all these killings, you get to a station, you start shooting policemen, start shooting soldiers, they will disappear to oblivion. The man has said this several, even from detention, that he did not order all these things, that he cannot be killing people that he has been fighting for. And don't forget, this is started with importation of insecurity in the southeast by strangers. It was done by non-Igbos.